Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on time of the day you are watching this video. So this is the second video in our IPSec VPN video series. In first video, we have discussed about the concepts of IPSec VPN and basic configuration element. In this video, we will quickly review the configuration elements, and then we'll go ahead and look into Cisco routers configuration and how do you configure that. So let's get started. This is a section we have already covered. Hopefully you have looked at, you have listened to our first video. Now this is a quick review of it. So for IPSec VPN configuration, these are the key elements of configuration that you need to configure for IPSec VPN. For phase 1, as you know, there are two phases. In phase 1, you need to configure encryption algorithm, hashing algorithm, authentication method, and Diffie-Hellman group. And then you need to configure what is going to be the pre-shared key for the specific gateway if you're using pre-shared key. If you're using other form of authentication like certificates, then you're going to configure your certificate related parameters. And then for phase 2, the way you configure is you configure the transform set, which will include your encryption and hashing algorithms, and then you will configure your crypto SEL, and then you'll configure crypto map, where you're going to use your phase 2 transform set, your SEL, and you're going to bind with your PR. And then finally you're going to assign this crypto map in your outgoing SEL of the VPN. So that's really how the configuration steps will look like. So now let us look at a topology diagram that we're going to use for this, right? So this is the topology that we are going to use. What I'm using here is I'm using GNS3, and I have created two VPN gateways, the two routers that are acting as a VPN gateway, R1 and R2, and in between I have a public network. That's the cloud represents the public network. And then on each side I have a private network. On the left hand side I have a private network 192.168.1.0, and for the purpose of this demonstration I have just one PC on this side, and similarly on the other side, on R2 side, there is a private network 172.16.1.0, and I think this is not 1.0, it should have been 1.10. So now the basic IP configuration is already done. So these are my devices, PC1. If I look at show IP interface brief, that has an IP address of 172.16.1.10, and let me ping the PC2, which is 172. Okay, let me resize it, right? And maybe I'll resize this so that you can see this better. And then let's take this, make it. My mouse is not very. Okay. So I'll ping 172.16.1.10, which is really my PC2. You see that it's not pinging because we have a public network in between, so it cannot ping across the public network. So now let me go back to the router 1, which is my first gateway. So this is my router 1. So if I look at show IP interface brief, this router 1 has two interfaces, and the one actually connects to the public network and the other connects to private network. So let me try to resize this once more. I think my mouse is not very stable. Makes it okay. So you'll see that this interface connects to public network and this interface connects to private network. Now similarly for router R2, we have one interface connects to private network, other interface connects to public network. Now let me go back and look at what are the configuration steps. So if I come back to my presentation, the next slide shows what are the things that we need to configure in each of these routers. In R1, I need to configure the phase 1 parameters that I'm going to configure under crypto ISACMP policy, and then I need to configure my crypto key, pre-shared key, and then I need to configure my transform set for phase 2, and then SEL, and then crypto map, and then apply it finally. So let me get started with the process. So conf t to get into configuration mode, crypto ISACMP policy 10, I'm going to start with, I'm going to configure just one policy, and it's going to be 10. So encryption is triple des hash SHA-1, and then authentication is pre-shared in my case, and then group 2. Right, my phase 1 configuration is done. Now I'll start configuring my pre-shared key, crypto IPSec key. Let's say my key is Cisco, and then my peer for this key is 2.2.2.2, which is essentially my address for the R2. Right, so let's get started. Now what do I need to configure next? After my key, I need to start getting into my transform set configuration phase 2. That's going to be under crypto IPSec transform set. I can name anything, let's say transform 1, and then it starts with ESP to indicate that I'm going to use ESP triple des, and then ESP SHA HMAC. So I'm going to use, okay. So I have additional options. I can configure whether it's going to be tunnel mode or transport mode. Default is tunnel mode, so I don't necessarily have to configure anything else here. So my transform set is configured. Now before I configure my my crypto map, I need to define what is the network on either side of it, and the way I define it is using access list. So let's say access list 101, okay, then permit IP. My local network in R1 side is .1.0, and then 0.0.0.255, and the network for the remote side is 172.16.1.0, 0.0.0.255. So that's my access list is configured. Now I can start with my crypto map. Let's say VPN 1 is the name of the VPN, so crypto map VPN 1. Then 10 defines the order of matching, and IPSec indicates that this is going to be a VPN that will use IPSec. I could also use manual, right? If you use manual, then IKE is not going to be used. You need to manually configure the parameters. Let's say under this I'm going to configure what is my peer. So set peer is 2.2.2.2 because I'm in R1. Unfortunately I'm looking at the configuration of R2 here. Okay, and then set transform set trans 1, right? So that's my transform set, match address 101. Okay, so pretty much my crypto map configuration is done. What I have done in crypto map, I've said that I'm going to use the peer address of 2.2.2.2, and then transform set, which has my phase 2 parameters, and then proxy ID, which is there in access list. Now the last step in configuration is applying this in my outgoing interface. So if I look at the topology, what is my outgoing interface? My outgoing interface is FA1/0. So I'm going to apply this in FA1/0 interface, FA1/0. Okay, now I'll say crypto map VPN 1. So pretty much my configuration is done. If I want to look at the whole configuration together, show run, I could do show run by begin IPSec so that I can start with IPSec section. So it shows my phase 1 configuration here, phase 1 policy, and then encryption is triple des, authentication is pre-share, group 2, SHA, hashing is not shown because I've used SHA-1, which is default. Then I've configured for this gateway 2.2.2.2 what is my key, and then transform set, and then crypto map, and then finally I've applied this in interface first Ethernet 1/0, which is my outgoing interface. So for the other router, all I need to do is all parameters are going to be same except for except for my basically what I'll do is I'm going to copy paste and modify the same parameters just a little bit here and there. So instead of here 2.2.2.2, it's going to be 1.1.1.1, right? And then similarly the transform set here is going to be 2.2.2.2. instead of that one, it's going to be 1.1.1. So I can just do a copy paste of the same thing so that my configuration is exactly same. Let me come back to R2 and then I can say conf t, just apply this configuration. Okay, so I am yet to configure access list 101. So I need to configure access list 101. Access list 101 is going to be reverse of the access list on the other side. So what is my access list? Permit IP. This time my local network is 172.16.1.0. so I'm going to type that, right? This is my R1. Let me go back to R2. Okay, permit IP 172.16.1.0 0.0.0.255 and remote network is 192.168.1.0 and then 0.0.0.255. Yeah, please note that the proxy IDs are kind of mirror image. Your local network will become remote network on the other side and remote network will become local network. And then the final step is interface FA1/0, which is my outgoing interface, and I will say crypto map VPN 1. That means I have applied this crypto map on this interface. Now my IPSec MP is turned on. Okay, so that's really the configuration. My configuration is done on both the sides. If I want to see how it's working, show crypto IPSec MP SA. This is the command to see. You see that there is no tunnel. And then for phase 2, the command is IPSec SA. So well, phase 2 right now is not going to be up anyway if phase 1 is not up, right? So how do I get started? You see that my S is inbound and outbound S is at 0. The way I get started is I need to generate some traffic that's going to go over the VPN. So if I try this now, try to ping this, you see that my first ping has failed and subsequently pings are successful, because first ping has failed because the VPN was getting negotiated. Now if I look at here, the previous two command, show crypto IPSec MP SA, it shows that I have a VPN tunnel which is active, which is up, right? And then if I look at my IPSec SA, you'll see that it shows that the number of what is my remote network, what is my local network, right? And then you will see how many packets has been encrypted and decrypted. So really we are up, right? And everything is working. So that's really what you need to do. I'll take a few more minutes just to say, in case something doesn't work, then what do you do, right? Normally if you configure all the parameters appropriately, it's going to work. Some of the common problems that you will see are basically kind of if you are configuring VPN between two different vendors, the proxy ID is one of the common place where you need to be careful about, right? So now for debugging, the options that you look at is, of course, the show commands are useful, and subsequent to show commands you could do two additional resources. One is debug, right? So debug crypto IPSec MP, and then this is a very, very useful command. This is a very, very useful command for troubleshooting, right? So now if I do clear crypto IPSec MP SA, okay, clear crypto IPSec, it's actually clear crypto SA, right? Show crypto IPSec MP SA, okay, it still shows active though. Okay, show crypto IPSec SA, okay. Now phase 2 is not is not up anymore. You see phase 2 parameters are not there. Clear crypto IPSec MP. Okay. So now if you look at show crypto IPSec MPSA, you see that phase 1 has been deleted. Now I don't have any phase 1 or phase 2. Right? Now let me get started with sending some debug, and you will see that the moment I start sending some packets, the first ping should fail again, and it should generate a set of debugs. So you see that now the first ping has failed and it is negotiated the VPN tunnel, and then again the tunnel is up and things are started to flow again. Right? So now these debugs are very, very useful. Now the debugs that I have run, ideally you should run this debug on both the sides, R1 as well as R2. But the place where the debugs will be most useful are on the responder side, on R2, because R1 is initiating and responder is the one which will accept or reject. So if you are saying something is not matching, is the R2 side that's going to give you a lot more insights why it's not matching. Right? So I have run debugs on R2 side. So let's have a very quick look and see whether we can make some sense out of it. So you see the first line, it says the receive packet from 1.1.1. This shows that 1.1.1.1 has started the VPN, right? The first packet came in here. Now let me stop the debugs. Undebug all is going to stop the debugs. And then it has created the handle and all that kind of stuff, the basic stuff, right? And then local port is this. This says that IK messages are coming on this port. And then yeah, it's looking at inside the packet now. Here it says processing SA payload, and what does it find in the SA payload? These are some of the parameters, NetT and stuffs like that. Encryption is triple des CBAC, and hashing is SHA-1, defilement group 2, and authentication is pre-share. You see all the parameters that has been received, right? Started lifetime, so lifetime is 86400, which is 12 hours. We have not configured anything, right? And also it says that attributes are acceptable. That means the attributes has matched. Sending the response, right? Here you will see that it's constructing the respond, right? And then constructed NetT, right? And then sending the packet. So it has sent the second packet, and then it has received the third packet here, and this packet is about defilement key exchange, right? And then it's processing that, right? And subsequently it sent the fifth packet, and then you'll see immediately receives the fifth packet, and then fifth packet is about authentication. So here it's processing the authentication, right? And then it says that processing hash payload authentication status, right? And then it says it has been authenticated. So phase 1 is pretty much done, right? So at this time it says that doing pre-shared authentication, total payload and sending exchange, 6 packet has been sent, right? And then it should say phase 1 is completed here. So this means my phase 1 is successful. If something is not matching, you'd see in the debugs is going to indicate something, and the trick is always look at the receiver side instead of the initiator side, and always look at the responder side. And then let's look at the next part of the packet. So this is my phase 2 got started, the processing phase 2, then authentication. These are the parameters that are there in the phase 2. Things has matched, and then basically what is the phase 2 lifetime and final stop, and sending the notification message, and your phase 2 is successful, right? If your phase 2 didn't match, you will see mostly some errors in this place, right? So debugs are very useful. Now in case you are not able to make much sense of debug for some reason, the alternate option is to take packet captures. You can take packet captures, you'll get to see what messages are getting exchanged, and that's going to give you a lot of insight as well. So hopefully this was useful. So thank you very much for your attention, and really the third video in this series is going to be how do you configure VPN between a Cisco device and a non-Cisco device. You'll see that the fundamental concept remains same, and you'll still be configuring the same parameters, but how you'd be configuring is probably going to be different. That's all, right? Hope you found this video useful. Please leave your comments with any feedbacks and suggestions, or if you want to see any specific video from us. And do like the video if you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much and have a great day.